Good evening, everyone. Well, on this Monday night in February, Iowa maintains its tradition of delivering surprises. It is a launching platform for some and a trapdoor for others. Tonight, it is a launching platform on the Republican side for Senator Bob Dole, who wins an impressive victory. Also for Pat Robertson, who finishes second. And it's a trapdoor for Vice President George Bush, who has gone on to New Hampshire, hoping that he can short-circuit whatever momentum Dole and Robertson have coming out of Iowa. Here's the vote now on the Republican side. Almost all the precincts have checked in, as you can see. And Senator Bob Dole, 37% of the vote, an almost 2-to-1 lead over Vice President George Bush. They were thought to be the front runners going into Iowa. Pat Robertson, however, came in here, spent a lot of money. He is extremely well organized in the state, and tonight he has an impressive second-place finish with fully 25% of the Republican caucus goers vote, the straw vote across the state of Iowa tonight. That does not represent necessarily the broad base of the Republican Party, because only about 100,000 Republicans turned out of a registration of about 600,000 or so. Here are the rest of the Republicans. A disappointing night for Jack Kemp, Pete DuPont as well. General Al Haig pretty well shut down his campaign here, and his vote total tonight reflects that. On the Democratic side, it is very close tonight among three front runners, the three men who were expected to be closely bunched, and they are. We have now about 70% of the precincts counted so far. Missouri Congressman Richard Gephardt with 28% of that vote. Illinois Senator Paul Simon from just next door to Iowa with 24% of the vote. And Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis with 21% of the vote. Snap judgment there is, of course, that all three will go on to New Hampshire in a pretty close dead heat. Mr. Robertson, congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. I'm overjoyed at this expression of love and support from the people here in Iowa.
It is impressive beating the Vice President of the United States tonight, but after all, you got only 25% roughly of the Iowa Republican caucus goers. That's only a fraction of the Republicans in the state. It's not really broadly based. Do you think that you'll have more trouble as you move on to places like New Hampshire?
Not a bit in the world. I think I was looking for an opportunity to broaden my base, and that's exactly what happened.
When you were a television evangelist, you often said that you had God's advice on specific decisions that you had to make. Do you get his advice as well on specific political decisions? How does that work?
I'd like to point out to you, if you don't mind, I think it's the last time that I want to be called a television evangelist. I've been a TV broadcaster. I run the 5th largest cable network in America, and I'm on 37 million households with cable, which rivals a lot of the so-called big boys. And because I am a religious broadcaster and have talked to people on major issues, that's why they have given me this tremendous victory in Iowa. And I really believe that henceforth the religious bigotry that question of yours implies is going to be a dead issue. I don't like it, and I think out of Iowa they're saying you're a serious candidate, and I'm going to run as a serious candidate.
With all due respect, Mr. Robertson, there was no religious bigotry expressed at all there. You're a religious. I'll accept your language. You're a religious broadcaster. I'll accept that. Dole, you now move on to New Hampshire, where Vice President Bush is said to be extremely well organized. It is a state where you won't have what many people perceive to be the regional advantage that you had in Iowa. Give us your projection now about what happens in New Hampshire as you go head-to-head against Vice President Bush and now Pat Robertson, who's much more formidable.
It's going to be a tough race. We're behind. Recent polls, the one tonight said we were 7 behind. I think it's probably more than that. I do hope we are helped a little in our win here. It's an impressive victory. We had a lot of good help. The people of Iowa really listened carefully. They made their choice. We hope that we can give the same message to the voters of New Hampshire, and that we may have the same result there. But let's face it, I'm behind. I'm not the front runner in New Hampshire.